as we commemorate Africa's second climate security climate summit meeting here in Addis Ababa. I'm here to say that we are here thanks to the extraordinary leadership shown by African leaders and the African Union Commission. I have, in my field of work, been privileged to collaborate with Commissioner Bankole, and I can tell you it's a real joy to show the leadership that and the personal commitment to the matters that are really bringing us together. And as just outlined by my neighbor from Oxfam, it is indeed about the people. And this is the reason why we are here, and that's why the US has been standing absolutely shoulder to shoulder with the African Union in addressing the existential challenge that climate change poses to people's lives across the world, but definitely in another of these many paradoxes, in a manner that is absolutely exponential on the people of Africa. The paradox, I'm sure, in my absence, has already been outlined. A continent that is really at the receiving end of everything that is going wrong with our world today. No responsibility at all for the absolutely deadly consequences that we are seeing across the world, but really on this continent. We know, for example, that it's no longer conflict that is causing people to move from one place to the other. It is climate change. It is the impact of climate change that is accelerating everything. Accelerating conflict is becoming, and the AU peace and security council has determined very clearly that climate change is indeed a risk multiplier, even though we are not in a conversation to suggest at any time that climate is the reason for conflict. But no one can today deny that it has, the catalytic absolutely impact on conflict. And therefore, the Peace and Security Council of the African Union has determined that this is how it must be addressed. Now, we have many solutions, but let me also maybe thank countries that have been really working hand in hand with all of us. The UN Climate Security Mechanism in New York is supported by really extraordinary member states. I'm seeing the ambassador of Switzerland in the room. I can mention Denmark. I can mention the UK. I can mention Germany and Norway. These are the countries that have really understood that unless we do it together, that this is the challenge to multilateralism, that unless we do it together, we will not be able to overcome the dangers that we face today. Now, for some of you who are from the younger generation, I really don't envy, because I grew up in a place where climate, the weather, was never a concern. It was not something that I would have to be afraid of. On the contrary, we were hoping for the seasons to evolve one after the other, so that we could indeed grow our crops, and it was celebrated. No longer today. Everything has gone astray. We are really in a place where we can no longer do business as usual and hope for a different outcome. That's why the SG has made it very clear. The Secretary General has made it very clear. There is only one pathway out of this situation that we are facing. Of course, we can always advocate for greater, financing or adaptation, because this is what is facing people on this continent. We can always, of course, advocate more globally for adaptation, for mitigation for those countries that are maybe better endowed and have just those adjustments. That would, of course, evolve. Agreeing to go into those carbon zero carbon. This is, we have to ensure that, of course, growth has to continue, because we have so many people to feed around the world, and in no time, it's no small thing. So no one is saying that development should be stopped, not at all. But we have to go through a renewal. We have to go through energy that are absolutely easily available, and that will power development in a manner that is protecting people, protecting the planet, and protecting, of course, livelihoods across the world and across this country. We are not there at the moment. So more needs to be done, and this conference provides an immense opportunity. Just ahead of the General Assembly in a few weeks, ahead of the G20, and of course ahead of Belém in Brazil, and it was great to listen to the COP30 presidency yesterday as to what is in there, how this would mean also, what would this also mean for Africa. So, dear friends, I can simply say that the UN stands really as a high stake in this exercise, and that's why, thanks to the support of partners that I've just mentioned, we have within the climate security mechanism that the UN has established, we are now also climate advisors. Climate security advisors that are now posted in a number of mission settings, providing member states hands-on really support in addressing the multifaceted challenges that come with mainstreaming climate change. And it's a very technical field that requires absolutely skillful knowledge, and a meeting like this one provides precisely the opportunities to exchange and mainstream all the work that we're doing together in facing this daunting challenge. So let me close, Commissioner Bankole and colleagues and friends, to just once more appreciate the fact that you brought us together, and we do believe that a meeting like this one, as the African Union is now really making headways, as you yourself told me, in putting together its common African position on peace and security, which will create absolutely a very positive precedent globally, because when Africa does it, Africa will be a leader, no longer just at the receiving end. Africa will be a leader, providing the world a global solutions to addressing the challenges we face. So once more, many thanks for the opportunity to step in, even though with my sincere apologies for the absolutely unforgivable delay.